we welcome you to the Fran Ryan Center for our Conversations and Coffee program on this 19th day of the month of February, 2026. I'm Ellen O'Shaughnessy, coordinator of the program. Conversations and Coffee is grateful to be at our home, away from home, here at the Fran Ryan Center, while our beloved Cultural Arts Center is being renovated. We thank Kyle Farnbach and faculty and staff for welcoming us. And we're grateful to Fran Ryan for her leadership in our city in multiple ways through services and programs. Fran is a dedicated champion for the senior citizens community. And thank you to you, our gathered audience, for being with us today to celebrate our artist, Gail Suver, painter, oil-textured painter. Welcome, Gail. So wonderful to have you with us. Let's stand up with applause here. So great to have you. And Gail is an award-winning professional artist based in Powell, Ohio. Your love for art, Gail, began early when a second grade teacher noticed your natural ability while the class worked together on a Christmas mural. You share that it was an encouraging moment that planted the seed for a lifelong creative path. Wonderful story. After graduating from high school, Gail married her high school sweetheart and devoted many years to raising their 4 daughters while building a 15-year career in healthcare. Gail retired from healthcare then and fully embraced her artistic journey, immersing herself in workshops, classes, and local art leagues. Gail shares that she's drawn to the quiet beauty and untold stories of the ordinary and often overlooked. Her work explores natural rock formations, time-worn buildings, and abandoned, rusted vehicles. Subjects, Gail describes, as marked by history, resilience, and presence. History, resilience, and presence. Wow. Through expressive mark-making, movement, inviting hues, and familiar forms, Gail seeks to pull the viewer into each composition, creating a sense of place and emotional connection. Gail, you shared with me that you thank us all for taking the time today to step into your world and seeing it with you. We thank you for being with us, inviting us into your world. Wonderful. All right, come up here. Beautiful.
Okay, let's make sure you can hear me. Okay. Thank you so much, Ellen. You said that so much better than I could. I appreciate it. I am here today with my biggest supporter, my husband, Randy. And I want to take you all on a journey from my start to finish, and see, hopefully I can do all that in an hour. So, as she said, I was very drawn to rustic, weathered barns, things like that when I started painting. My husband has a wonderful knowledge of Ohio, so he always took me on these back roads. We have children that live out in the country. I believe this was in Centerburg, but this is one of the first paintings I did of an old John Deere Why it wasn't green, I don't know, but I enjoyed doing that, the detail, the rust, the history of it. I'll give you. This is an old truck that I found. Now, this was in Powell. It was in a new development that they had an old truck with the wood and everything. Just love the rust and the vehicles, the way they were built back then and everything. I entered this in Ohio State Fair and actually in the amateur category that year and won a award for that. This is a road grader. I'd never seen one and my husband had to tell me what it was. And it had a broken window and it just, there again, drawn to that and had to paint it. And an old crane we found, I believe, in Centerburg. And this was a 57 Chevy. Yep. I know, I wouldn't have known that. My husband had to tell me. But it was, I mean, it had been sitting there. The weeds were everywhere. Half of it was missing, and even the lights. And I just thought it was the most beautiful thing I'd ever seen. So, old truck, and this was on a farm in their backyard. I had to go up to the front door and ask if I could paint it, or take a picture to paint it, and they were very nice and let me. And to thank them, I made a print of that after I was done, gave it to the people. It's just, you never know with art what journey people you'll meet, and when you're inspired. Yeah, you're fine. This is we took a trip to Nelsonville, which I have a lot of family from there, so I know the town, love the town. This was their old train yard that had been sitting there for a long time. Nelsonville ended up putting that on their website, which kind of made me mad because they didn't get my permission, but I was also, happy about it. The trains led to me doing a commission here. That's a newer train, which is just my point that you never know where art's going to take you. And commissions have been great for me. They really keep the money coming in to pay for my paints and my. Then I went into barns, and this is a covered barn. I can't remember the name of it, and I really didn't do a good job on the name, or I would have. Where was that at? Do you remember, Randy? We were trying to figure that one out. There's so many.
They're all over the place. I love covered.
I do too. And if you Google, you can even find maps of where they are. And I tried to find it, and when I pulled it up, there were so many. I didn't know how I'd figure it out. This was probably the first barn I ever did. I was not using palette knife back then. I was using brush. So probably shortly after this, I went into palette knife. And this is from Prospect, Ohio. It's some kind of a mill structure or something. I don't know what it was. What was it, Rand?
It's a grain cooperative.
Yeah, he has to tell me what these things are. I just know if I love them or not, and that's what I do.
Stay there and paint it?
I'm sorry. No, I take pictures. Yes.
What was the question here?
She asked if I stay there and paint it.
Oh,
I do plein air painting, but no, that would take me forever. This is a bridge in Nelsonville.
where did you learn to draw?
My father was an artist, or he had artistic abilities. That's not what he did for his career, but.
So you were raised with this.
Yeah. I consider myself basically self-taught. because I didn't go to any art schools, but I feel like I've learned, like I said, and continue to learn through Culture Arts Center was the first place, and
Who were some of your teachers at Cultural
Um,
Arts Center?
Brent Payne was my main teacher, and I also did some classes with Michael Gwain, I believe. I'm not sure if I'm saying that right. Joe Lombardo, I have taken his workshops. Yeah.
This bridge is in Nelsonville?
Yes. Yes. It's there at the end is a train, I believe. Is it near the train yard, Randy?
Well, it's no longer used as a bridge, it's a walking bridge now.
Okay. Yeah, you can tell that. And I'm not sure how old it is, but there again, I was drawn to the rust and the discoloration of the iron or whatever it's made of.
And you call it textured oil painting.
Yes. Yes.
And could you tell us a little?
Yeah, I use only palette knife now because I do get texture. But I also feel I'm drawn to subjects with texture. And that's what I always strive to bring that out in my painting and my techniques. And I'm constantly working on different techniques. I have a show, an exhibit, coming up in March and April at the Gallery 22 with Mac Worthington. I'll have my paintings, he'll have his sculptures, and it's called Say It Loud. I brought some postcards today if you'd like one. And we're basically showing how they merge and play off of each other, and I think it'll be a very nice show, but yeah, the texture is what I am drawn to, I guess. And it's mainly, I'll talk about these in a minute, but those two will be in the show. Then I love Ohio. I'm from Ohio. I was born and raised here. There's so much to see, and I've learned that more just through traveling with my husband. And I was doing all this rural subjects. And then I thought, oh, we've got some great buildings. I'm going to start working on those. So I did the State House. And I want you to know the lead contractor, when this was renovated, bought that. So that made me happy. Yes. Dispatch Building. I know it's not pink, but I love playing with colors just to draw people in sometimes. I also did, I don't think I did, it's not on here today, I did the Ohio Theater, I did the Levesque Tower, and I enjoyed the Arch at, where is that in? Yeah. Then I decided, I'm very drawn to people, but I am not a portrait artist. And it's usually just subjects I'll see in traveling. This was, we were in Austin, and we came outside of that restaurant, and this guy with that dog and the sunglasses was sitting on the stoop there. I believe he was homeless. I talked to him for a while, and he gave me permission to take his picture, and I just loved the colors, the contrasts, and I did him. This was a trip to Chicago with my friends. Just things that inspire me, but I don't do people that often. This was, I have a daughter who is a recovering addict, and this was inspired from my brain, or my memory, of the night before she went into rehab. She was very lost. She was sitting in a tub because she was withdrawing. The colors all kind of have meaning for me, the darks, the lights, the hope. But I want you to know she's 13 years clean. So this was a hard time, but I just had to, there again, I had to put it out, what's in you. It's sometimes it's just a feeling. And then I love doing still lifes, and I love the way glass light plays off of glass. So I, I started putting together, and I thought, oh, the color whiskey, because I love that burnt sienna color and oranges and reds of wine. So I started doing a series because I was going to be in in the Upper Arlington Labor Day Festival. And so this is from that series. And I have to tell you, I think all but two of those sold. I don't know if alcohol resonates with people, but they liked them. I thought, okay. Yeah, this was a commission from that. We go to the Make-A-Wish gala every year, and last year I made I think it was I don't have it on here, a series of bourbons, and it was auctioned off, and the money went to Make-A-Wish. So I love doing things like that too, art and giving back. I love animals, especially horses. I don't do them that often, but I played with my palette knife here and kind of did, that wasn't really the colors of them. This was from a trip at Outer Banks, the wild horses. They were just walking on the beach.
What kind of brushes do you use?
This is all palette knife.
Oh.
Sorry, all palette knife. Yeah, I don't use brushes. I think I've used them for so long, and I was in Brent's class when I started using them. And they're so easy to clean. I don't have to, you just wipe them off, but it's the texture. Yes.
I have a question about your skies.
About what?
About your skies.
Oh, okay.
As I understand, you paint from photographs.
Yes.
Correct? So I've been admiring how your skies, seem to be copacetic, if you will, with your subjects. So I wondered, are those direct interpretations of the sky, or is that an opportunity for you to be really imaginative to make the sky work with the rest of the
Exactly. Yes. To me, I've seen skies in every color, and I've seen pinks and, blues together, but usually I want it to go with the subject, the whole composition, and no, they're not always true to, and the same with my landscapes. They're not always true to what you would really see. Yes.
When you start, do you limit your palette?
Do I limit it?
Limit it to like so many colors? Or do you use a full palette and mix all your tones?
I don't do a whole palette, no. I start out, tell you the truth, with colors that I think I want to put together, but as most artists in here probably know, as you evolve through the composition, it's like, I don't know, it talks to you or something. I've done this before, trying to make, say, I'm going to do 3 colors, and I'll start painting, and I just don't like it, so somehow I end up bringing in a pink or something else just to satisfy me, I guess. So yeah, that's so that, and then I did this elephant. This was for a show that was called Endangered, and I put that in it. That was in Upper Arlington, wasn't it, Keiko? Yeah. I just thought I'd show you my tent. I believe this was a Worthington art festival, but it's got a lot of my barns and cars, and I was doing animals, cows, trains. And I had a good experience. I did Worthington, and I did Upper Arlington Labor Day, but I'm not currently doing festivals anymore. They're a lot of work. It's fun once you get there, but they're a lot of work. And this is from my latest series. We made it, like I said, several trips to Hocking Hills. So almost everything in my latest series, which is called Lights Passage, because they probably all have something that you'll see rock formations and the way light comes through and plays off nature. I just think it's beautiful. There again, though, my colors. There wasn't necessarily pinks in the rocks or blue-green grass, but it's like it just kind of, like I said, talks to you to how it should come out. And that's what these two are from. This was Hocking Hills, and so was that. That won an award at Brindu last year, which I'm very proud of.
Your piece is that size?
No, I make small ones too. I forgot to show you this. When I was talking about people, this was one I was proud of. We were just in Nashville at a bar called Roberts, and I love bands too. That's something else that inspires me, but I don't do them that often. And see, that's 11 by 14. That's about as small as I go. For my festivals, I did some 4 by 4s or 6 by 6, I believe, because you should have about every size for that. Questions? I'm happy to answer any. Still have time. Yes.
So Gail, this last series is just so gorgeous. It seems like it really lends to your technique. You know, the subject matter is really lending to your technique. And you can almost even see the progression in the pieces too, how you're just getting freer. Are you going to continue kind of in this vein, or what are you thinking, or do you know?
Well, I think, like you said, if there's a lot of good to having an exhibit, but what I've noticed is it makes you, of course, paint a lot. And so you're right. I've noticed even from the ones that you'll see them all at my exhibit, but the earlier ones look a little different than the ones I'm doing now, and you've probably seen that on Instagram, which I love. It has made me involved, try different techniques. I'm not only using palette knives now. I went and bought some big putty knives. Just went to Zettler's or Home Depot. You know, you can get so many different looks, and some are thinner than others. There's one large one I did for the show that is a lot thinner than, it doesn't have a lot of texture, but there again, I feel the subject shows texture.
Both the color and the actual textures. I think I'm seeing maturity.
Thank you. Yes, that's what I was telling Ellen. We never stop evolving or learning, so I'm always open to that. Yes.
What was your art like when you first started? What would you paint?
I would say, like the tractor that you saw, I enjoyed that, but that was so tight, and I'm trying to loosen up, but yet still make people understand the subject I'm going for, and I find nature lets me be freer, because if I'm trying to do a 57 Chevy versus nature, you can't really go, there's nothing wrong. Anything I did different than that picture said, nobody's ever going to know. Where a 57 Chevy, I got to get all the things right, all the dimensions and everything.
So this is real current work then, right?
This is current, correct.
Do you feel you're moving from the figurative and the literal to more abstract?
Yes. Yeah, it does.
Really go abstract, so we don't even know what we're looking at.
I know, and I don't want to do that, because I really want people to know what it's supposed to be. I love abstract, but I'll never go that far to true abstract. But it's funny, I've put some of mine, I don't know if any of you have got a critique from ChatGPT, or there's another one out there, Theobot or something, and it always uses the word abstract in the description or critique. And I'm like, I'm not abstract, but I guess that's what it sees. I wouldn't say these are, but yeah, there's one or two in the show that are a little looser than these. Did you have a?
Portraits.
I'm sorry?
Portraits.
Portraits? I don't. I have done them of family members, drawing, I think, basically. I didn't paint them. I've had friends ask, I think a lot of people think if you're an artist, you're good at any subject. I don't think, that's not my thing. I'm amazed at people that can do portraits, so. Did you have another question?
I just wanted to compliment you. This piece that you have on the screen, it is so beautifully surreal. And I love the way that you took a leap from what's,
Yes.
real
Thank
and
you.
really made it your own.
And that's the word, I like that word, because that is what I'm kind of striving for. Like I said, with the unnatural colors, I just try to make the composition to my liking, which is what you have to do, and then hope other people are drawn to it. Yeah.
I like your subject matter, the old vehicles and automobiles and stuff. What really attracted you to do that or anything?
I don't really know, except I think it's probably from my past. My grandfather's always into cars, my husband, old cars, and I never wanted to paint the ones that were redone and pristine, like the one you saw in the weeds. If it's rusty, the rustier the better. And I just think I know they're not human by any means, but they have a story. And they were, and car manufacturers today are wonderful, but it was a different time back then, and it was, not as assembly lined, and yeah.
Now they look alike.
Now, yes, there's so much craftsmanship in them, and yeah, so I guess it came from that, basically. And the barns, and I have family that lived on farms. I still love rural barns and things like that, and structures. Yep. Any other questions?
Is that a car in the bottom of that picture?
No, it was a weird rock, actually. It almost looks like a couch to me sometimes, too. But yeah, it was a rock that was right in the foreground there.
How much time does it take you to do one of the larger paintings?
Believe it or not, the larger ones seem to go quicker than some of my small ones. And I think these are a little tighter than some I've been doing lately. But there again, I think it's the freeing of using a large palette knife or, making big marks. I would say, but, as an artist, you can only spend so much time, and you got to walk away. So, or you'll mess it up forever. But I would say probably a good week or two, yeah, on the larger ones. My husband will come in and say, okay, that needs a little more green, or I think that's done, and I'll say, stay in your lane.
Who your artistic influences would be? I mean, so I'm just thinking a lot about Monet, and how Monet's eventually turned almost.
Cezanne, Van Gogh, yeah. And I don't feel that, my work looks like them, but
Progression where he slowly progressed
Yeah.
away from subject matter. It was still there.
Right.
And water elevation.
yes, I love that, I know. And yeah, I still love Van Gogh and his story and all that, but I did one the other day that reminded me of him, but it's not like I do the lines like him or anything with the brush, but yeah, it's funny how your idols come out one way or another sometimes.
How many years have you been painting this style?
10. Yeah. I, like she said, I retired, I dabbled in things as my kids were little, but I never could get serious. I would end up being the one that drew Ernie or some Sesame Street character for a birthday party, and that was fine. I did some crafty things, but yeah, when I retired, I was so happy to find the Culture Arts Center. It was a gem I didn't even know existed. And that really helped me evolve, meet other artists, network, learn, lead you to maybe getting in league shows, applying. It was just a whole new world, which I love.
And you did a Conversations and Coffee
And
about
I
2018?
did, yeah, back in 18 or 19. Well, you saw part of it, the Rusty stuff. It was called Ohio Inspiration. I had a loft show at the Culture Arts Center. So yeah, that was the beginning.
You have an art and a way of drawing us into your paintings. I feel drawn into them.
Thank you. That's what I strive for. I really want people to feel that they're in it, there for a second or so. But did you have a question?
Is there any sketching involved with your work? It would be very difficult.
No. I really don't sketch. I know a lot of you may not be on Instagram, but I've got a couple videos on there that show beginning to end, time lapse. I do a backwash. Usually it's no certain color. It's paint that I need to use, so I don't waste it. But it's usually darker. Let's just say it's burnt sienna. And then I take, my oils are water soluble, by the way. They're by Cobra. I love them because they're easy clean too. And I can, just thin them out a little bit with water. But then I use so after I get that wash on, I'll take a clean rag and just start wiping off the lights and leaving the darks and kind of sketch it with my hand. So I know I should have brought a video of that, but
Yeah. Do you sell a lot of your art? Because I know it's so hard to do that.
I do. Yes. I have, the festivals, of course, and commissions have been, like I said, by just getting your name out and your art out, it's led to a lot of commissions. But I do sell, and if people come into my home, some of my art's hanging in my house. They say they like it. I always say it's for sale. Everything's for sale. So. Yes.
How many paintings do you consider to be a series? And then, like, how many pieces do you work on simultaneously?
Well, so my series with the show I'm in is I'll have 21 or 22. I'm trying to think. Oh, and I was in a group show with two artists I know, I believe about 2 years ago, and I probably had 18 to 20 in that, but it was at the Dublin Arts Center, so it's a pretty large venue. And I only work on one at a time, basically. Yeah, I've tried I've got some extra easels, but I don't know, something about my brain can only deal. I'll maybe do the underpainting and set it aside, but yeah.
Water soluble oils dry faster than traditional oils?
I'm not sure they do. If I do a commission, I tell people it's going to be 4 weeks before they can have it, because it's got to be at least dry to the touch. And as a lot of you may know, oils really aren't totally cured for 6 months. And so if anybody ever wants them varnished, I said, but these, you see how shiny these are? That's the paint. I don't, you may, if somebody really wants varnish for extra protection, I will do that. But yeah, though that's why I had to stop doing or the ones for my exhibit, because I do need allow time for them to dry. Yeah.
Take intentional trips to go find subject matter?
We do, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Get in the car?
Yeah, we're both retired. We love, not that there's a lot of time to do it sometimes, but we love taking a trip to the Hocking Hills, or when I was into Barnes, he would just, he knows Ohio. He's very knowledgeable. I think I already said that, but yeah, I just tell him what I want, and he's my driver. Driving Miss Daisy. Yep.
Randy, do you have any comments there? I can see you really enjoyed it. You radiate there.
I think he does. He's been so helpful to me in the areas that I'm not comfortable, like this, but because he's a speaker and he's done it his whole life almost. So
That's wonderful.
All the paintings with all soluble oils?
I do now. Yes, I started with acrylics. I loved and hated them because I loved them because they dried fast, but then I didn't like that because we went on vacation, took a beach vacation. I took acrylics to paint some on the beach, and it just drove me nuts with the wind. They would dry so quick. But I love oils. I like the depth. You get a little more depth, and yes, but you do have to allow them to dry for a while. And they can be very messy. I have ruined carpets with our oils, haven't I, dear? Well, any other questions? Got a little time.
Well, you can share with us how you moved from years in healthcare to developing what it is that you had started when you were quite young. What inspired
know.
you?
Two different worlds, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, I was a medical assistant, and my last job, when we lived in Cincinnati, it was in dermatology. And I remember just people, there was an artist that was a patient of ours coming in, and she would always try and get the doctor to buy art for the office, and her art. And I understood that, but he just poo-pooed it. Of course, he wanted to go to Home Goods or whatever and get something cheap, which is fine. But so yeah, that was I don't know a connection between the two, but I think it's always been something I really wanted to do, but because of family and time and intimidation, I think was a lot of it too. It's you always, or most people, I did. I felt like, oh, I'm no good. Why would I, go take a class and I was afraid of critiques. Now I love them. Brent was good at that. We had a critique at the end of every series, I like that now because family and friends, I know they truly mean what they say, but that's not a true critique from somebody else.
Do any other subjects appeal to you down the road?
I know. I was trying to think the other day, what will I do when I'm tired of these rocks? Because it happens, yeah. It's like, okay, I've done enough of this.
Besides vehicles and rocks.
Yeah. Because that's how I switch from the vehicles. I'm like, no, I want to do something else now.
About portraits?
Yes. I don't really know at this point. Nature really draws me in, but I think I strive not to be a typical landscape artist. So I'll probably play with this for a while, but I also like architecture. But there again, it makes me be tighter because you got to get the dimensions good. Old buildings and I've dabbled, I don't have any today, but I've dabbled in just scenes on streets with people. We did a trip to Memphis, and they had a street festival, and there were 2 cops standing in front of their squad. I took a picture. I'm like, I got to paint that, and I did. My daughter's got that hanging in her house. So, yeah, I just, whatever draws me in, I guess. I used to worry about pleasing the audience, and I've learned you can't do that. You have to, an artist needs to paint what they want to paint, and it will draw the people that are drawn to it. Yes.
You said you're going to do about 21 pictures for this. What's your thought process that allows you to make that many pictures that don't all look alike?
Well, I have pictures, first of all, and they're all different, just like these are. This was one view of 2 rocks, and that was a back view. Some are looking up, some down. I find, so I really don't get too alike, and I also change up my colors to try and make it more interesting. Like these are more bold than I felt this was. That's about it.
But you don't run out of ideas.
Well, no, with pictures I don't. I'm not, except for the one you saw of my daughter, I am trying to do it more, maybe do it from memory, but it's hard for me. I really need something to look at.
Your subject matters have been automobiles and buildings and natures. Have you ever considered aviation or aircraft or anything?
No, but I like that. And I like boats. I love, yeah, I've done a couple boats, just sailboat.
Those are-
Yeah. Yeah, I do like that too. Yep.
This work just interprets the Hocking Hills so well. When you're trying to explain to somebody, oh, Ohio, it's just flat and grass.
Right, I heard that a lot.
The coolness, the dampness, the richness, the lush. I think you've just captured it really so well.
Thank you. That, there again, I don't use ChatGPT real often, but I've used it for critiques, and one time it took me further past the critique and suggested doing atmospheric landscapes, which has been in my mind. And there's a couple that I think look more foggy or, after a rain or something like that. So I thought, well, that'll be something I think I could build on. Yeah.
I was taking with myself the students that I've taken to Hocking Hills for a retreat, and they have been forever surprised at the beauty that surrounds them.
I
And the
know.
climbing is a challenge, but
Yes.
it's
Oh, yeah,
wonderful.
you-
But you have just captured that so.
Oh, thank you.
Is that for sale?
Well,
Have you sold that to someone?
no.
No?
No. It's for
Oh,
sale.
it's so beautiful.
Yeah, for sale. Everything's for sale still.
Uh,
Yeah, I agree with you. And I have heard my whole life, Cowtown, flat, whatever. And I
Yeah.
used to laugh at
Yeah.
and probably say the same thing until I started painting. And
Oh,
he's been
gorgeous.
a window to so many areas that he knew of. I didn't. So it's
Yeah.
been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And I if we travel, I've been to Arizona. Those rocks amaze me. Things like that too.
Yes.
That could be a whole nother series. Yeah.
So, did you have a question?
Question, so how many years did you go to the cultural, so when you started at the Cultural Arts Center, were you sort of artistic already?
Yes.
Or so it was there?
Yes.
And how long did you go? How long did you go there before your stuff is very good, it really is.
Well, I was telling Ellen, I believe I started there probably in 18. And I think my first painting there was a butterfly or something, and we just, I started, but I really hadn't painted much. I have drawn more up until 18. I had drawn more than paint, but I always wanted to learn paint. Brent was a great teacher and helping me everything from, mix my palette to, and he was good at critiquing, this should be darker. Values are something to me that I still struggle with, but I think I'm getting better. But yeah, to your point, I really just feel like I evolved. And painting, I paint a lot, and I painted almost every day. I was retired, my kids are gone. So yeah, I just think it's evolved over the years, but keeping at it and learning and networking with other artists, learning different things they do, it just all plays into it. Thank you, though, for the compliment. I appreciate that.
Well, thank you, Gail. This was so wonderful
Thank
that you have taken us into this beautiful world.
you.
And Randy, thank you for being with us. You want to make a comment? I want to hear.
Well, she said she paints a lot. Gail said she said she paints a lot. She does. She paints probably 8 hours a day. And I know we just built a new house and we built a studio in it for her, and she's got a good setup. But I know she's in her happy place because she's in there all day. She's humming and singing, and if I come in, she tells me to get out. But it's therapeutic for Gail. I mean, it really is her happy place. And when we go somewhere, I can tell when she's locked in on a subject that she wants to paint. We were driving not too far from home and along the Scioto River, and she said, "Pull over, I want to get a picture of that structure." And she walked down over the hill, and 20 minutes later, I decided I probably better go look for her. I didn't see her floating down there, but I went down, and she was still down in there taking different pictures at different angles, and she ended up making a really, really impressive piece from it. It was an old bridge abutments the bridge was gone, but the structure was still there, and it was really cool. So, I mean, she sees things that I don't. I can take her to places like Mohican or Hocking Hills or Cuyahoga Falls because I know those places are there and I know they're beautiful. But then she's off up a hollow looking at things that I don't even see.
Thank you. Beautiful. Thank you, everyone, for being here, celebrating this amazing art.
Thank you all for coming. I really
Gail,
appreciate
you
it.
call us to resilience, too. That is such a gift these days, the gift of resilience.
Yes.
All right.